Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Zevachim Daf Ayin Aleph. We begin a brand new perek, and perhaps due to the shortness of Ayin Aleph, we'll just combine it. We'll join it together with Ayin Beis for a 2-for-1. So the Mishnah begins, Kol HaZevachim. You have a valid carbon. For instance, you have a carbon oila, meant for hakrava. Problem is, it got mixed into other deficient animals. A chatas, which is mesa, which is meant to be allowed to die, meaning to say it's something wrong with it. Rashi says it actually comes in 5 variations. You have a carbon chatas whose owner passed away. You have an offspring of a chatas, etc. What happens now? You can't tell them apart. You have a couple of animals, one of which is okay, one or several of which are problematic and unsuitable. Or your carbon oila got mixed into a shar haniskal, an ox that gored somebody and was condemned by the bezdin for stoning. Again, unsuitable to be used as a carbon. What do you do? Even if it's one problematic animal mixed into 10,000 kosher animals, they all have to be put to death, and they're not suitable for hakrav. We don't say, it's just one, it's negligible, it's batal. An animal is not batal, as we're going to see later. Here comes case number 2. The valid carbon or carbonates got mixed into animals which are not slated for death. Rather, they're simply not suitable to be used as a carbon. This is the header for the upcoming cases. So it's an animal that had experienced a sin, which makes it unsuitable for hakrava. For instance, a shehemis. So some take out the word oy, because this was simply like an introduction to the following cases. An animal that had an avera, for instance, shehemis es ha'adam al piyei de'echad. The animal killed a person, but due to the lack of 2 witnesses, you can't do anything to the animal. It was only al piyei de'echad, only 1 witness can testify, and therefore the animal stays alive, but the animal is now unsuitable to be used as a carbon. Or the owner admitted to this episode. But the animal interacted with a woman or was interacted with by a man. B'muktzah was set aside for idol worship. V'nevet was actually worshipped. V'esnan was given as a gift to an immoral woman. Umechir was switched for a dog. B'kalayim, it's a crossbreed animal, unsuitable for carbon. Ubetrefa, it has a trefa wound. Ubetrefa was born by cesarean. So your kosher carbon oil got mixed into those animals. What do you do now? Yirachi istavu, let them pasture and graze until they become all blemished. V'yimachru, Rashi takes out the word v'yimachru. So now they're all blemished. So even your carbon oila is now ready for transferring. You're going to convert that kedusha onto money to be used to purchase another one instead, right? V'yavin, you're going to purchase. How much are you going to spend? Well, you have to put aside the equivalent to the highest value animal amongst the bunch, because you can't discern which one's your oila. Maybe it's the most expensive in the bunch. But based on the highest value amongst these animals, take that amount and purchase the same type that you lost. Buy another oila. Okay. Next case. This arva b'chulin tamimim. Suppose these carbonates got mixed into proper animals. Chulin tamimim, unblemished. Technically, they can all be offered as carbonates. Problem is, only one of them is an oila. The rest are regular animals. Yimachra chulin l'tzarchei esamin. Find yourself another couple of friends that need a carbon oila and sell them 1 animal each from amongst this mix. You don't have to necessarily know which one it is. You know what? One of them belongs to Reuben, one now belongs to Shimon, and now you have a bunch of 10 karbanos oila and give it to the kohen to process, and he'll know how to do it. Rashi says he doesn't have to ascertain each animal's owner. Rashi says Yikarev kol echad l'shem mishahu. Just offer it for its owner. Hashem knows who the owner is. Next scenario. Kachim bekachim. Different karbonis got now mixed up. Minbim mean the same type of carbon. Okay, my oila with your oila. Again, simple solution. Zeh yikrav l'shem yishahu. V'zeh yikrav l'shem yishahu. Each carbon will be offered for the sake of its owner, of its respective owner. Because they're meant to undergo the same process. They're both carbon oila, no problem. However, the next scenario involves a mix-up between different types of carbonates, which require different types of methods of akrava. So you can't just, do it all as one. Kachim bekachim min m'she'eina mina. Different type of carbonates. All right, different types. What do you do now? We have to resort to the earlier solution. Let them all get blemished, and transfer the kedusha onto money, and rebuy the animals. Yirochi stubble. Let them pasture until they get blemished. And again, each owner has to bring enough money, which is equivalent to the highest value animal amongst this bunch. Use it to repurchase his carbon. V'yavi b'dmei hayafash ben minzeh. You have to rebuy this type. U'b'dmei hayafash ben minzeh, and buy the other type. Again, based on the highest value animal. Who loses the extra? There's going to be some loss here. Okay, just picture it. You have, let's say, keep it simple. You have two animals. An oila worth $5, an oila worth $10. They're mixed up. Nobody knows who's who. So I have to set aside $10 and do a pidyon, take the blemished animal, convert the kedusha onto this, transfer onto this money, and rebuy the oila, and you have to do the same. So we end up spending 20 instead of just 15, which was the actual value of the animals. V'yafsid ha'moisrim basi, he's got to lay it out from his own pocket. One more mix-up case, and this arvu b'b'char b'maser. What if your carbon got mixed into a b'char or a maser? Why are they unique? Rashi explains you can't transfer kedusha from a b'char or a maser. Firstborn kosher animal or a 10th animal, these are carbonates that cannot, non-transferable. You can't do that transfer system. You have to leave them as is. But you can't yet eat anything because you have your oil mixed in, so again you have to let it blemish. Yirachi stubble, let them pasture until they get blemished. And then you set aside some money and transfer your kedusha's oil onto your money and rebuy the oil. And the rest of the animals you have to treat as a perhaps b'chor maser, right? Which are mixed in there. You eat them all as though they are b'chor maser. Rashi explains you can't sell them in the market. You have to eat them, respectfully, with dignity. And then you're out of the woods. Concludes the Mishnah. You should know any two carbonates can technically get mixed up, except chutz min achatas ve'asham. That never can happen. You can't mix a chatas with an asham. Why? Because the chatas will never be brought as a ram. You can't use a ram for a chatas, whereas an asham is always going to be a ram. So those two are certainly discernible, identifiable, and unmixable. Let's go back to the beginning of the Mishnah for a second. All the carbonis that got mixed into chatois ameses, into forbidden animals, even if it's one carbon in 10,000 forbidden, it's asur. Well, obviously, if it's 1 in 10,000, all the more reason for it to be asur. If there is a greater amount of forbidden animals, that makes it more reason to be asur. Why does the Mishnah say even? Which sounds like it's not so simple, it's not so obvious. It's a big chiddush. Maya filu. Actually, the Mishnah is meant to be learned in reverse. Who got mixed into whom? The chatois ha-meses got mixed into the carbonis. So the forbidden animal got mixed into the kosher animals. And there we see, even if it's just one forbidden in 10,000 kosher, the whole mix becomes asur. The Mishnah means, you have a group of carbonis into which fell in a chatas ha-mesa, or a shara niskel, afilu echad, even if it's one forbidden animal, be reborn into 10,000 okay animals, you must cool, and they're all going to be put to death. Ask the Gemara. Well, this halacha we know also. We learned in a Mishnah and Tamura. Why the repetition? Right, to tell you 1 in 10,000. Tanina chadazimna. That's discussed in Maseches Tamura. The Mishnah call ha'arsurin legabe mizbeach, all animals which are unsuitable for mizbeach use, oisrin b'kol shein. They get mixed into as many as they are. Many. Even a drop, 1 in 10,000. Proportions aren't important. It forbids the entire mix. And the Mishnah goes on to explain her Revev and Irva, all these problematic animals. So why repeat? Why do we have to have the Mishnah there, a Mishnah here? Amar Rav Ashi, Amrita l'shmata. I presented this question, Kamei Rab Simi, but Stricha, he explained to me why both Mishnahs are needed. Each one has its own unique lesson. If only from that Mishnah and Tamura, how I would say, Hanamil Gavoya. When do we say one can invalidate many? That's only when the issue is, an animal which is unsuitable for korban. Okay, so after all, you're not killing the group. You're not, So, true. It's going to negatively impact the whole group, but in a limited sense. You can still use it for personal use, although not for mizbeach. Okay, so we're strict on that. But when the stakes are higher, when the issue is infecting the entire group and making it also totally forbidden even for personal use, but when it comes to personal use, perhaps we're not going to come down that hard. And that's why we need our Mishnah to tell you no, even in this case. Where it's a chatois ha-meses, meant for death, asur b'hana, still, it will adversely impact the entire group. On the other hand, we only discussed our Mishnah. I would say, only these items which are asur b'hana, it's a shar ha-niskel, it's a chatois ha-mesa, okay, will impact the whole bunch. Because it's a more powerful isur, avul hani, but the items mentioned over there, Mesechas Tmura, Revev, and Irva, are not really Asr B'Hano. Perhaps it doesn't have the same effect on the group. Tzrichi, that's why we have both Mishnahs. Asks the Gemara, what do you mean? But let's take a look at the next part of our Mishnah, which also discusses, lightweight Isurim, which have the same effect. Lav Isura, Ninu, cases which aren't Isura, Hana, Hatanale. Those are also discussed in our Mishnah. Well, to a certain extent, but not all the way, like the Mishnah over there. Miktani B'Kama doesn't say how many got mixed into how many. That only applies in the first case. It's only discussed in the case of Isura, no, but not repeated later in the second part of the Mishnah, which discusses lightweight Isurim. For that, we need the Mishnah in Tamura to tell you even lightweight Isurim can infect even a large group. Kolshein Asam Ktani. Over there in Tamura, it says even Kolshe, even one in many. No, so then just discuss the Mishnah there, not over here. Right? If it's all covered there, why bring in Revev and Nirva and etc. into our discussion? It's a repetition. Well, there's an added point in our Mishnah. Solutions. And the Mishnah and Tamura will only have the problem. But here we give solutions as well. Let it get a mum and convert it and transfer it. That explains the need for both Mishnahs. Ask the Gemara, the Hedjit Nami Tanale. Hold it. So the beginning of our Mishnah, the main point is to tell you that even very powerful Isurim, which can forbid even for personal use, have the same effect when they get mixed into a large group. Is that the point of our Mishnah? Well, this halacha as well was already taught elsewhere in the Mishnah by the Zohar. The following items are asur and they forbid their entire mix for personal use, totally off limits. Yain nesech, right? They get mixed into a large group, a large amount, become asur for personal use, totally forbidden. Tzrichi, again, we need both Mishnahs. Because if only from that Mishnah I would say, yeah, Chachamim was strict, was stringent. That's because it pertains to personal use, so don't use it. But in our case, where the issue at hand is the status of a korban animal that got mixed in, perhaps we're not going to come down that hard. We'll say it's batal, and you could use it as a korban. We're not going to validate the korban. Perhaps we don't come down as hard. Perhaps we're not going to invalidate the entire group of korbanos. That's why we need our Mishnah to tell us we do. We don't differentiate. On the other end, if only from our Mishnah, I would say, on the other end, you could say only by korbanos, we're so strict, because it's disgusting to use this group of animals which has within it a problematic animal. But over there, Mesechus Avodah we're speaking about just plain mundane material, not Mikdash related, which doesn't have this Mo'os factor. Okay, perhaps we can let it go. Isuri Hana, even though the item that got mixed in, the drop of Yain Nesach is Asher Bahana, Livati Biruba, let it become batal. In the majority, which is okay, Tzricha, that's why both missions are needed. So bottom line is, when it comes to these items of importance, like an animal, etc., they're not going to be batal. Whether the issue is invalidating it for karban, or making it usher for personal use. Now comes the obvious question: why not? Typically, something is batal. V'nevatal beruba. Something becomes batal in its majority. Rashi says it's a pasuk. Doksiv achri rabim lahatas, like in a court, right? We follow the majority view. So one animal to 10,000, let it be batal, negligible, batal, nullified. Ignore it. Perhaps you'll say, well, a behemoth has prominent, it's chashiv. You can't just go by the wayside, it's not batal. And Rashi explains, Hayil v'darkan limanis. Typically you count animals. You can sell the animals, you don't just send them a truckload of animals, you count them one by one. It has uniqueness, it has exclusivity, it has individuality. So it doesn't become just mixed in and nullified. Well, that's true to a certain extent. That works according to the opinion that says anything which is even at times occasionally counted, that was also taught and learned to the extent that it's not batal. That would explain the Mishnah. According to the other opinion, which says only something which is S, which is exclusively sold by number, always sold by number, only that prevents nullification from taking place. That certainly doesn't apply to animals. Michael and Maimar, what are you going to say about the animals which are very often sold by herd, by bunch, by truckload? This not. Where do we have this discussion? A fellow had some bundles of the tilson, some sort of spice. Rashi says tavon chashav has chashivas, a special spice, right? Rashi says the twig, the wood material, tastes like the actual spice itself. Okay, so it's a special spice, which happens to be forbidden. It grew in a vineyard, kalaya kerem. Idalko, you got to burn it up. Let's say these bundles got mixed into others. Kulan idalko, they all got to be burnt. They're not batal. Divrei Reb Meir. So Reb Meir holds these things have prominence. They can't just become batal. Chacham disagree. Chacham Aimrim no. These bundles of spice, just let them become batal. Ya'alu be'echad masayim. As long as you have 200 times as much of the permissible material, it becomes batal. Now, typically, you don't need 200, but the Chacham more machmer, you need 100. By Truma, you need 100, and certainly over here, where it's Kalaya Kerem, which is even Asr Bahana'a as well, you need 200. Okay, but you have that ability to be batal. Rameh disagrees. Why? Rameh would say, Kol Shadarki Limanis Mekadesh. Anything which even at times is sold by number, individually, cannot become nullified as Mekadesh. Just the opposite is Mekadesh. Mekadesh can have a positive connotation and a negative connotation. Kedusha is positive, and over here Mekadesh means in the negative. It infects the whole group. Because the word Mekadesh means separate. It could be for positive and for negative. It means to say it's going to forbid the group. No, Mekadesh. We only say Mekadesh by 6 items due to their exceptional individuality and prominence. Ela Shisha Dvarim Bilvad. Rabbi Kiva Omer says 6. Shiva, what are these 6 or 7? Elohim. As follows. Ego is a perach, these walnuts from this town, perach, very special ones. Very reminding the pomegranates of Badan, the chavias, barrels of wine, stumas that are closed, sealed. The chilfei trodden, these special beets. The kilchei kruv, these special, a head of cabbage. The dalasi vanis, special pumpkin. Rukiva Moisef, he adds to the list, number 7, afkikrish balabais, homemade breads. Those are very unique. So amongst these items, some of them have urla, potential, because they're nuts or whatever. Urla, amongst these, which are urla enabled, urla. So the issue would be urla. Haroila kalaya kerem. Others which can't have urla to them, like the loaf of bread, it's wheat, it's not urla. At most, it could be kalaya kerem grown in a vineyard. So whatever the issue is, you have a an item which is either asr because of arla or whatever, or klei kerem, even if it's in a greater mix with many others which are okay, they are not batal. Okay, so 6 or 7 items. Now Reb Meir added the tilson, right, the bundles of spice. What did he mean to say? Simply to add one more to the list? Or did he mean to expand it even further, to indicate that we're not just limited to 6 or 7 items which are exclusively sold by number. No, even things which are occasionally singled out by number also had that added chashivas and prominence and cannot be bottled. We have 2 ways to understand Reb Meir. We have a discussion on this mission. Rabbi Yechon Amar, es shadar k'limani shaninu. Reb Meir didn't take it to that extent. He agrees to the concept. Only something which is always handled by number. He just added one more to the list. He says not only 6 or 7, it's also the bundles. But he went along on the same track, the same, approach. It needs to be S, shadar k'limanis. It's not going to cover animals, which sometimes are sold by herd. However, Reb Shimon Lakish Omer, no, kol shadar k'limanis shenin. According to Reb Meir, we expand it to anything, even animals, which at times are sold individually. According to Rish Lakish, we have an answer to our question. Why do we say in the Mishnah that a problematic animal is not batel, even in many, in 10,000? According to Rish Lakish, it's very good. We're going like Reb Meir, who says any type of individuality prevents bittul. Ela Rabbi Yechon, according to Rabbi Yechon, who says there's no such opinion. Michael Meir, so according to him, we're back to the question. Why would an animal not be batel? Just because sometimes it's sold by number? Not always. That doesn't give it adequate prominence. It could be batel. Omra Papa, I found an opinion which corresponds to our Mishnah. Hi Tana. The Tana of our Mishnah, which doesn't allow an animal to become nullified in the greater number, Tana delictor kritziasu. He is the same Tana found in the following Brisa, which discusses the pressed figs. A liter is a certain amount of katzias. The liter of katzias, the Amar says, Kol davar sheish by minyan afilu b'derabbanon le'batel. Any material which even at times has a minyan component to it. Sometimes it's counted by number. Sometimes it's individualized. It will not be batel even if the issue is an issa d'rabbanan. The kosh can certainly be the raisa. The issue is the raisa, such as the fish and karbonis in our Mishnah. Okay, which we'll see by the Shem tomorrow. But the question seems to have been answered, right? Why is the animal not batel? Whether it's a chatas hamesa, sharniska, reveh nirva, got mixed into so many kosher animals, proper karbonis. Let it be batel. The answer is an animal has chashivas, and that prevents bittul from taking place. So what do? Well, it depends on the situation. If the issue is, it's a chatas hamesa or sharniska, then misa applies to all. If it's a question of still carbon, so we explained, you let it all get blemished, and then you go and transfer the kedusha from the carbon within the mix to new money, which is now used to repurchase a new animal, etc., etc. All the best to you, and atzlacha.